Hey guys, how's it going? So today we're starting the process of getting our new driveway cut in to the property we started working on this year right in front of our house. This is just going to be kind of the beginning stages. This is going to have to happen over the course of time because tomorrow we have a 100% chance of snow. But our guy, Chad, he's our excavator guy, and I'm sure he has a proper title. Aaron, do you know what the title of an excavation guy is?
Excavation guy.
We're not sure. Anyway, his business name is Steve's Backhoe Service, but he's the guy we call when we need anything done with gravel or earth moving. But he came by this morning and he said, hey, while the ground is still pliable, let's start cutting in your driveway because then it can snow on it, it can freeze, get wet, and it'll still be there. I can still work on it even in inclement weather, but it's really hard to cut in once it's frozen and kind of unworkable. So just a quick look at the new property here. It looks like a barren wasteland compared to what it looked like just a few weeks ago. I can't believe the amount of produce and flowers that came out of this space. The only thing that's left is the Gothic arch trellis, which is really not in the way. That's why we've kind of left it to the end. We've got our burn pile there, which is still a little bit too green to burn. That may not even happen till spring. And the high tunnel's gone. I mean, it's all gone. And we'll throw some drone footage up so you guys can see the property in reference to our house. You can see where our current driveway is. That kind of curves right to directly in front of our house. That whole driveway is going away, just that one section. And we are gonna come out on the west side of the house. Instead of it curving back around, it's gonna go straight onto the new property and it will curve somewhere along there and go back and meet our lane. So what Chad asked us to do while he went to go get his machinery was to get in our truck and just drive multiple times where we want the driveway to be. So that we could kind of give him a guide as to where it's going to go. Now, he's not going to be able to finish it completely because our electric poles are still in. So just as a reminder, all of these electric poles are being buried. We had our timeline wrong. So we thought that the burying process, which that far one's going right there, and this one, and that one, we thought that they were going to bury them in October because we met with them early on in the season. But I think what their schedule dictates is that they start the process in October. So the burying of those poles will not actually happen until December, which at this point, like, it would have been nice to be able to connect the driveway now because it needs to come right through here. Let me line up here. It needs to come basically where that pine is. So we have to move that pine. All of this fencing, like the short fencing's going, this pole will be gone. So of course, he won't be able to dig this out until all of the electric is buried. So that'll be something that'll be done later on in the winter or early spring to connect the two pieces of driveway or two sections of driveway. But yeah, all of this is going to be gone. All the fencing's going to be gone. We're going to pull a bunch of plants and we're going to seed grass from the house out into the new property so it looks like one continuous piece instead of disjointed. So we actually had other projects going on today, but when Chad showed up, we were like, ooh, you guys might enjoy seeing the process of how this works because I don't even know how it all works. This has all been such a really good learning experience for me, honestly. A lot of things that I would never have thought about that have to be done to set the infrastructure up of your property when it's raw. And this property was raw when we bought it. Aaron's flying the drone right now. So we're just gonna start driving the course here, and to have the drone up and be able to look at it on Aaron's screen, we can really see the shape of the driveway, which I think we pretty much know what we want. See the drone right up there? And we're gonna be barreling through right about where the carrots and beets were, I think. Like right alongside the high tunnel. So I think we did our job pretty well.
I think so.
Yeah.
We put in a lot of hard work.
Yeah, that was backbreaking.
Yeah.
You can see our tire tracks. We kind of got off a little bit, but honestly, like once he's here and he's got the equipment going, we can kind of adjust a little bit because I feel like our curve was maybe a little bit too sharp. We need to make it a little bit more soft, but that's all stuff. Chad's really good at that though. Like he's got an eye.
He'll cut it in and then he'll say like, what do you think?
Yeah.
And so there's really no, like he's just super easy to work with in terms of giving us a chance to look at it before he'll make any changes that we want.
And I think he could probably even do it without us because he knows what he's doing.
How wide do you think we should do this? Like 16, 20 feet wide?
Yeah, whatever's comfortable. I mean, there's a lot of space out here and you don't want to neck it down too much.
I feel like we'll want it wide enough to where 2 cars could pass each other.
Yeah, not a bad idea.
Or where you could park one on the side and drive around it. Because
Yeah.
I don't think we should neck it down to where you have to drive into the grass
Right.
to get around.
Not that that's going to happen very often,
So what?
but you never
how
know.
wide is a car? Like 6 feet wide?
No.
7 feet wide? How wide is an F-150? 79.9 inches. So if we did a 6.5, of course, then you're talking mirrors probably on top of that.
Yeah,
So like,
between 15 and 20,
yeah.
for sure.
So like a 20 foot, I think a 20 foot would be perfect.
How wide is our current one? Because we don't want it to be very far off from that. It's got to match. Got to consider that too.
Well, it can start to flare out a little bit here.
Here comes Russell. He's found us.
I think,
Hey, Russell.
see how the brick kind of comes down?
Yeah.
I think at that point, you can start to widen it out.
Sure.
Widen it out here, and it won't matter.
Right, that does make sense. Hey, buddy.
Also, let me explain to you really quick about what Chad was saying about the gravel.
Okay.
What type of gravel?
Uh-huh.
So we just had him do this, and this is like a thinner or a smaller gravel. And it's fine for this area, but I don't love it as much as our other gravel.
This looks like a 1/2-inch chip instead of a 3/4
It's definitely
chip.
smaller. So
And then this is pea gravel we had left over from a different project. It's all mishmash up here.
this gravel, he said he can get access to this gravel, but you don't like this. so
I
much
don't
'cause
like
it's
that
more-
as much. It's too light
it's-
colored.
Yeah, it's too
You can see the
brown.
difference. This is a color they call blue, and this one is got a lot more white, and it's kind of overcast, so it doesn't really show it
That well.
like true. It looks
We'll
a
have
lot.
Ken put the colors in in the editing. But he said it's really hard to get a hold of this, but he's going to give it a shot to see if
Okay.
he can get a hold of more of this.
We should go give an update on the grass real quick.
Oh, yeah.
So we seeded grass, you guys know, along the east side of our lane over here. How long ago? Just like a month ago
Yeah.
or so, and it's looking so good. It's actually going to be more satisfying to have the poles come down this time of year because they stick out so much worse
That's true.
when the trees don't have leaves. Doing some experiment with Christmas lights. We don't think we're going to actually light these trees this year because they're a little bit too young, a little too flimsy, and see how we have to almost wrap it. And I don't know that it's good for the tree to wrap the branches like that for that long.
Yeah.
There just isn't enough for the lights to hang on this year. So we might forego the trees just this year, but look at the grass. I can't even believe it. There's a little patchiness, of course. I mean, I was kind of expecting that. I wasn't even expecting,
We kind of thought maybe we had failed.
Yeah.
Or that it had gotten too cold too quickly.
yeah, but look at this. Look at that just sea of green out there. And the edges do dry out faster than down below because with the grade of the land, one. So the sprinklers are where all the flags are along the fence line, and they shoot out toward the driveway. And they do reach and they come onto the driveway a little bit. So it's not a matter of coverage, but the water just naturally wants to, you know, run back down a little bit.
Well, I think this is fluffier because Chad was working on this.
Uh-huh.
So I think what happens is that the
it
water
drains out
just
too
drains
fast.
faster.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think there's like several factors that are playing into the edges, but we kind of expected to come back in the spring and just reseed any patchy areas. But so far, it's just so much fun to see that color. Like from about here on, the green is pretty consistent.
Yeah, it is.
It's just this back section. And you guys, also this bin enclosure for our dumpster is going away because Eddie, our fabulous handyman, is building us a new one way over there so we don't see it. He's right in the middle of it. But as soon as he's done, we get to tear that down. And then I think we're gonna take the raised bed from around this mulberry tree. We're gonna take that out so that it's just trees. So this whole area will be cleaned up and it'll look less neck down right here. Okay, so now we're just waiting for Chad to get back with his equipment. And when he does, we will set up cameras so you guys can see the whole process. you can see Chad's huge grader over there. He was able to come and start cutting in the road. It's not 100% done. I'll show you both ends. That's kind of where the finish work needs to be done. So like where it meets our lane over there, and then also right here. He's also going to use all of this gravel. You see that the short white fence left. My cousin actually came and he took every single bit of it to use at their house. That was the fence that we put the hay racks on. So it kind of looks funny to have it gone. It's just hard to get used to and kind of picture this whole area being so different next year. So Chad is going to be scraping all of this gravel since this will no longer be driveway, and he'll be using that as part of his base layer while working on the road out here.
Another thing I forgot to tell Chad when he was putting this in, and I think it wouldn't have mattered anyway, but we need to put some sleeves under the road, just like conduit, like, big pieces of conduit, so we can run electrical or water or anything else without trenching over the top of the road. So I think what we're going to do is have him put maybe 4 sleeves on this road. We'll put maybe one here going across the road here, maybe another one down the way a little bit, and then one on the end over there and one somewhere else, just kind of spaced apart. So that way if we decide we want to bring water or power in from this side, because remember we ran water and power all the way around the perimeter, and we'll be bringing it this way. So anyway, that needs to go in as well.
Because we'll have to bring it over. We were going to do a lot of grass and shade trees in this area right here. So we'll need it. We'll need that access. I'm so glad you think about those things, because those are the type of things that I would totally forget about, and I'd have to rip stuff up later on.
Yeah. Well, easy to put in now. Well, I mean, it's clearly
right,
ripped up.
Yeah. We're not going to wreck anything out here.
And it's so cheap to put in some conduit now. And then as long as you mark it off and know where it is, then you can just run your stuff right across the road. Remember that one time we had to run conduit over there?
Yes.
Remember how hard that was?
That
it was hot, and Benjamin was the baby.
Yes.
And he was sleeping or something while we were doing that project.
But we were using pickaxes and like hoping he wouldn't wake up.
That was the worst.
It was pretty.
That's why you want
that was
conduit
a tender
going
moment.
Across the road.
Oh, it's bright out here today. I think what we'll do is we're going to walk this. We'll show you the curve, and then I want to show you the other end and the other finishing work he's going to do. And he did ask me, we had an option, like, do we want him to build the road up a tiny bit so that like everything kind of runs away from it, or do we want it kind of tucked in? And I think we're going to go with tucked in, because we don't want it to be
just level with the land.
And he said that's what he would probably do. I also did want to mention that yes, we do have a tractor, but the reason why we don't tackle this sort of project, this is kind of a big project. Our tractor, we could do it, but it would take a really long time. And Chad, this grader, I'll show it to you, it's massive. And he normally wouldn't need that big of a piece of equipment to do this job, but he was right down the road working on another job, and he usually just fits our stuff in between the jobs he's working on. So he just dropped that off one day, and then a couple days later had time to come and start the process, and then he worked until he lost light. But that's the advantage of having friends in the business and small towns too. You could see my one crop, like lone crop left out here. See the parsley, Aaron?
Yeah.
I actually came out here the other day and got some.
Did you really?
Yeah, I kind of want to go over there and see it, but you can see the curve. It's nice and gentle. Oh, I'm loving it. Let's take a look-see here. Not bad. That is all that's left of this whole cut flower garden space.
It's so crazy how much transformation there is in the space.
Boy, we learned a lot, didn't we, this year? Okay, so we got the curve coming up. We're gonna have to take our shoes off before we go inside, Aaron.
Yeah, or do some serious walking around.
Yeah. That is huge. Look at that. It's a little bit of an overreaction for our size of project, but he was like, well, it'll make it fast.
Yeah.
Now, you were mentioning maybe, Aaron, having him grade the whole, isn't he going to grade the whole thing?
Yeah, he's going to come back when he has time and just level out, because there is a little bit of a hump over in this section here. And he told me, I've got this machine real close to you guys. He said, I can bring it over and just level this off really fast. So that's kind of convenient that he had it so close by.
And that's kind of why we've held off on starting, because we're going to have a fence built in the back to hide our composting system. And it'll be the back of our orchard / cut flower garden. But we need it to be level, and it's weird. Like, even if it's slightly unlevel, it makes it super hard to put fencing in and all that. Anyway.
Well, before we go any farther, are we going to have a small little road branch off from this and go to the cut flower garden?
Yes,
Still a little one?
a little one.
Did you mark that in the drawing? Can we show that?
I think so. We could show the
I'll
overhead.
put it on the screen of what our,
Either way.
our
Yeah.
plan was.
I think I had access from both sides, like a gator size access.
Yeah.
But I can't remember exactly like the access points. I know one comes up kind of over here where the tractor is, you know, it kind of branches off from there and comes this way. And then there was something over here, but I can't remember.
It's gonna look so good. I just imagine standing right here with grass.
Yeah.
And some trees on the sides.
No poles.
No
So yeah,
poles.
imagine that. No poles, no white picket in front of the house. A lot of that stuff's coming out minus the bigger trees. And then we're gonna take out the grass too. So all the grass that's up there, and then we're gonna reseed lawn from the house all the way out to this road. And we'll cut in flower beds and stuff like that too, and put in big shade trees, but it'll just be one continuous piece from the house. So it'll look like a continuous property, like it won't look disjointed.
It's gonna look good.
Yeah. This is where the other finished work needs to happen. So the road is gonna center. So we've got a autumn blaze here and an autumn blaze right there. And then the one in between we skipped. So it would have been right here lined up with the other one. So this is where the road will come out. That's where it'll center. But we're gonna have him flare it both directions quite wide so that you can turn in or turn out easily with a truck and trailer. We don't want it neck down too much. He ran out of light when he had the machine about here.
I imagine he'll probably come back with something smaller when he does a lot of the finish work.
Sure. Oh man, this is muddy. My goodness. It's a little soggy out here. The last thing we wanted to do today was show you the dumpster enclosure, like our current one, which is at the old entrance to our property. And it worked really well. We've had it there for a couple of seasons, right? Starting to get a little broken down though, because the dumpster has been like pushed up against the back of it and it broke out some boards. But we had a new one built on the opposite side of the new property. So it'll be tucked away and hidden more. You won't see it along this main lane. So we thought we would grab the tractor and move the dumpster and maybe remove some of this wood today.
I don't think so. I think I'll probably put it on Facebook and see if anybody wants it.
Oh, that's true.
And I'll just let them do it.
Yeah. That's what we do. What we do with everything.
Yeah.
We have a fence we don't want. We just post a picture of it. Like, you can have it for free if you come take it out.
Yeah. It's convenient for both parties.
Yeah, it really is.
Because somebody gets something for free and we don't have to do the work.
Yeah. All right, so we're approaching the old entrance here. You can see the dumpster enclosure on the right. Do we need that drive slow sign for kids anymore?
Probably not.
The sticker looks like it's kind of coming off anyway.
Yeah.
So we can get rid of that. We do have a couple of artificial rocks here, fake rocks covering outlets. So there's one here that we're gonna have moved over. And then we have one here still. So we didn't remove this post because, you know, when the fence was being removed, because it is like indicating there is an electrical outlet right here. We're gonna abandon it, but it's not abandoned yet. So those will be gone.
I was thinking about that. Do you want to abandon it or should we just leave it there?
Well, I suppose once the gravel's gone and nobody's tempted to drive this way, it wouldn't hurt anything to keep it there.
Yeah, maybe it would be fine.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Okay, I'll grab the tractor.
Perfect. So there it is. This is what it looked like. Now, when we had the new one built, they were able to use the existing doors, which was really nice, and all the existing like hardware. So the door swung open and it would catch right here. So it wouldn't the doors wouldn't sway with the wind and things like that. But let me show you the back side of this thing. What you can see kind of from the front. Look at that. When the guy came to pick up the garbage one day, the forks come way out the back of the dumpster, and he snugged it a little too close to the back and just popped out a couple boards. No big deal. But yeah, won't that be awesome when that whole menagerie is gone? We're also going to remove the raised bed here, and this fence will be gone, so it'll be much more open. It won't feel necked down here. And then I'm thinking I'll do some kind of really pretty something. We'll do a flower bed over here, which I will probably take out a little bit of this grass that we already planted and do some smaller evergreens and some flowering shrubs and things like that. And this is the tree that the DoorDash driver totally ran into more than once. And I'm not sure what's gonna happen, but you can see what happened to the trunk right here. And in the video, it looked like something broke underneath. So we'll see what happens next spring. And there it is. It hasn't been stained yet because we had to order the stain, but it's pretty much done otherwise. It's right by our other access gate that leads out. Let me get these doors open. We had it built quite a bit bigger than the last one, so that hopefully the guy doesn't have any issues getting it to fit inside. So it just opens up and hooks right here, so it doesn't go anywhere. It smells good, it's cedar. It looks really good.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah. Did you notice Eddie put the metal posts in the back?
Yeah.
So Eddie, this is the guy who built our enclosure here. He also put in our root cellar. He does all kinds of wonderful things around here. But he decided that this might be a good way to not have the dumpster accidentally hit.
Well, because it busted out the back panels.
Yeah,
on the
I
last
just
one.
did a little tour of the couple of boards that were, but I think that this will work out great because then the dumpster will be stopped and hopefully the forks don't reach past that too far.
Yeah.
But this enclosure is quite a bit bigger by several feet, both deep and wide.
Yeah, I asked him to make it, I think, a foot deeper than our last one, or a foot wider, sorry. And then
Seems like it's 2 feet wider. It is so much more spacious.
It could be 2 feet wider, for sure. And then maybe 2 feet, just 2 feet deeper than our last one.
Either way, it feels better.
It feels really nice.
To not do something so small.
Is that 10 feet?
I think
or 8
so.
feet?
I think it's 8 by 10, isn't it?
I don't know.
I don't either.
It works.
But we were limited over there. Like, we couldn't do anything very much bigger than what we had over there.
Yeah. This is good. And it shouldn't get in the way of people parking here.
Yeah. So if we do have people here, this is where they park, right here. And so our driveway will come out on this side of the house and it'll connect to this whole area right here. And I think there should be plenty of room for everything that we need. I've seen a few comments like about, oh my gosh, you guys have so much gravel. When in reality, when you're doing lots of projects and you need access to multiple areas of your property and you don't want to neck everything down to where it's an impossibility really to move, it does take quite a lot of area like that. It doesn't feel like too much to me though.
Yeah, gravel's pretty cheap though too.
Yeah, gravel's cheap and it's fairly easy to move around. Like if you want to make things smaller, you can. But you have to have these types of areas in order to get equipment around on your property. So anyway, and every time we do something, we try to do it to where it's like the most comfortable situation possible so we don't get ourselves in a bind. We can always make it smaller, but it's hard to make it bigger once you've kind of like established your structure of everything.
What are you going to do with right over here? Are you just going to leave it gravel, or are you going to kind of flare? Are you going to make this planting area right here?
Oh,
because you could put some things in here.
I could. Yeah, I certainly could. We could like round this edge out right here.
We've got water right here, so it wouldn't be hard to.
Yeah, I like that idea. I like where your brain's at. It's nice.
That's why you keep me around.
So that is pretty much it for this video, you guys. I know it's not the prettiest of projects, but it's the necessary part of projects. You've got to get your infrastructure in and you got to get that stuff set up. And it's like the most unfun stuff to spend the money on. Like we want to spend the money on the plants, right? And containers and stuff like that. So it's always fun when we can see another step done and another part of the project done. It's one step closer to getting to the fluff and the fun and the pretty part. But it is exciting to me when we get things more practical around here, when we get like enclosures for dumpsters that are out of the way, out of sight, and a proper size. I mean, that's thrilling. Yeah. That's my thrill for the day. Anyway, we will be giving you updates along the way as Chad has time to come back and work on the driveway. And then of course we'll be doing a video when the poles come down. We'll show you that process. So it's all good stuff and it's fun that we're able to still do it. What a gift. You know, after Thanksgiving, and look at it. It's sunny. I'm like about ready to take my coat off for the day because it's warm, and our ground isn't too wet to do stuff like this. I mean, it's a little muddy in patches, but overall, it's pretty dry. So that for this time of year, you never really know what you're gonna get. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.